Hello, Glitter Witches. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I wanted to talk about how I came to witchcraft. Now, this originally started with Wicca, but I figured this would be an entertaining story time because somebody ends up being a felon, and I thought, what a nice little story to welcome in the new year. So, if you're interested in that kind of story, stick around. It's going to be a doozy. So, how did I come to witchcraft? Well, simply as most people, I'm sure, who identify themselves as witches, came through witchcraft probably through the door of Wicca, because I think most of us, went down that path. But how I knew I was a witch, that's a whole nother video. I've had a lot of experiences, supernatural experiences when I was a child, if you want to call it supernatural, metaphysical, whatever term you want to use. That's a whole nother video. And while that's compelling, I think this story of how I came to Wicca, how I came to witchcraft, is a lot more entertaining. So that is the story I'm going to be telling today. I've alluded to this story a number of times, and I've never actually taken the time to give you the full details. So let's go ahead and get into the story. Now, I will let you know that it's a little dramatic and a little crazy, but again, I'm Justin, okay? And if you're a part of the Glitter Army, then you know everything we do is dramatic and everything we do is extra, because that's who we are as Glitter Witches, right? So just be prepared for that, and let's just stop rambling and get into the goddamn video. So, how I came to witchcraft. I came to witchcraft through Wicca, like I established earlier in the video. Now, this was introduced to me, like truly introduced to me, by a coworker. At the time, I was working at Sam's. I believe it was 2007, 2008, somewhere in that neighborhood. And I was working in the cafeteria, like the cafe that they have in a Sam's Club. And I met this girl, and we'll call her Beatrice, okay? That's not her name, but we're going to call her Beatrice. So me and Beatrice worked in the cafe together. We made pizzas, cooked hot dogs, love handling sausages. We worked together for a few months, and I can't remember exactly now how the conversation got brought up. I believe she was wearing a necklace or a piece of jewelry. I believe it was a necklace, and I just asked her what it was, and that kind of opened the door for the conversation. Now, up until this point, I had seen a lot of stuff in like mainstream media, like The Craft and practical magic and all that, but I didn't know what Wicca was. I wasn't familiar with that kind of term. I remember hearing it a few times on Charmed, but I didn't really know what that meant or that it was a religion. So she was kind of explaining that to me, explaining Wicca, explaining witchcraft, and we just slowly started to become friends, and then we started hanging out outside of work. So that was like the basis of how our friendship started. And we really started going to Books A Million and hanging out and just going to the New Age section and reading books and talking. And it really became like this really cool friendship. And I was very grateful for her because my eyes were being opened to something that I was always kind of attracted to. I just wasn't sure what it was. And to have a name for it and to know somebody and to have like a partner was so refreshing. And while that was great, it didn't last long. Red flags slowly started showing themselves pretty early on in the friendship. It wasn't long until it wasn't just us. It wasn't just us in this study group of, reading the New Age books and looking at tarot cards and oracle cards. And that it went away from that very, very quickly, and soon became her introducing me to other people who supposedly were Wiccan or witches, but the manner in which they conducted themselves wasn't really conducive with what I was reading or what I was being taught. We went to Books A Million one time, and it was me, Beatrice, and two other people that she had introduced me to, who she wanted to start a coven with, like all of us. And they stole all their merchandise. I go up to the counter, paying for all my stuff, and they just walk out. Okay, and we leave. Like, y'all didn't want to get anything? They're like, oh yeah, we got everything. We got everything. He opened up his coat. There was books and cards, and I was just like, okay, this is not, this is a no for me. Now, did Beatrice, Beatrice, Patrice, Beatrice herself did not steal anything, but her reaction to her friends and our fellow potential coven members stealing, she really didn't seem that bothered by it, which bothered me. I feel like now, like looking back after everything had happened later on, I feel like it was kind of her way of testing me to see how I would react to these kind of actions. And when she saw that I wasn't going to be okay with that, her demeanor changed and the way we kind of interacted together changed. And I will say, I never saw those individuals again. We never hung out again. No, I can't ethically hang out with you when you're stealing from a place. It's not like your family's hungry. It's not like there's some great, issue going on here. You're stealing tarot cards, you're stealing witchcraft books. Like, I just had a problem with that. And so that kind of ended the idea of a coven. Now, I do have something I want to show you. I've showed this before, and this is one of the times that I've alluded to this person in this story. This is actually the very first oracle deck I've ever had. This is the very first deck I ever had. Out of tarot, oracle, anything, this was the first deck. And this was gifted to me by her. Did she buy it for me? I don't know. Did she steal it for me? I don't know. But this is the very first deck that I ever got as a gift from her. And I do keep it. There are some cards missing. I don't use this deck anymore. I haven't for years, but I keep it for sentimental value just because when I look at it, I think of this event, but I also think of my innocence and the beginning of what would eventually become my practice. And sometimes it's just nice to look back at those things, to remember who you used to be and, where you come from. So this deck is always kept for sentimental value, not for actual, to be used in practice. With all that being said, in the incidents of books a million, there was still other red flags, such as tampering in stuff like a Ouija board, which I said I would never do, but I did. It was like a spirit board. I don't remember the name of it. It was very different. And there was just things that were happening with her that were a lot of red flags, but I still remained friends with her. I still associated myself with her. And even worse than that, she was telling me stories about her family. She lived with her parents and her siblings, and about how terrible her life was, how terrible her family was, how much they hated her. And I was already married at this time. And regardless of all of these things, of all these red flags, of all the sketchy behaviors, I still opened my door to this girl. Yeah, I let her move in with me. I know. I hear you. I get it. You fucking idiot. Why the fuck would you do that? You didn't even really know her. And I didn't. I think all of this transpired over a few months. I just felt like, we had this connection through magic, through Wicca, we're witches, we're sister witches, all this shit, right? And I fell for it, and I believed what she was saying, even though sometimes I didn't. You believe it, but you don't believe it, but you want to believe it because you like this person, and you like what they bring into your life, and you want to be friends with them. And that was really what the situation was. So I fell for all this fucking bullshit, and she wound up moving into our house. And from the moment she moved in, it was a disaster. We started having plumbing issues, electric issues. I really think there was something dark about her. Honestly and truthfully, something dark followed her or was in her, or she was attracting some sort of negativity that manifested in our home. And if that wasn't bad enough, she stole my wife's identity. Oh, yeah. Stole my wife's identity. 100%. Disaster. That's what it was. A fucking disaster. Okay. Now, all this electric stuff was happening, all this plumbing shit was happening. We would have people come out to the house, there's nothing wrong. It was just very strange. And slowly she started to kind of just not come back to the house. She had her own room, which she had a key to, and she never was there when we were there. She would come in the middle of the night and leave early in the morning. And one day we were out shopping, me and my wife, and she had a call from the bank saying there's been some really strange charges and your account is overdrafted. And your account is never overdrafted. My wife had this account for years, like years, and always had an impeccable record. So it was, out of the ordinary. So she goes down to the bank and looks at the charges, and it's an Alltel bill, it's a car payment, shopping bill, weird charges, right? And what the fuck? That's not us. That's not us. And there was only one person I knew that had Alltel, and it was Beatrice. Hello? What the fuck are you doing? So I call her and I tell her, look, this is the deal. Just come clean to me. Just come clean and let me know what is happening so we can work this out, the whole 9 yards. Because the part of the story that I left out is when she moved into our apartment, we never let our landlord know. We just let her move in. Which I know, again, fucking idiot. I know, okay? You live and you learn. You're young and you're dumb. I played that game and I lost, okay? So I call her and I'm like, look, you need to call me. She doesn't answer. I'm leaving voicemails. I'm texting her, like, come on, we need to get to the bottom of this. Like, I know you're doing this. She finally calls me back. She tells me, yes, it was her. She was going through a hard time, and she's not going to pay it back, but she hopes we understand and that we can still be friends. No, that's not how this is going to work. We go down to the local police station. We file a report, the whole 9 yards. We go back to the house. She's not there. And so we, follow everything the police told us to do. And they went up finding her and arresting her. And she admitted to everything. So that was, fine. Well, now we needed to get her out of the house. She spent one night in jail and somebody bailed her out. Her boyfriend's mom bailed her out. So we want her out of the house, but of course she's not on the lease. So she's kind of like a squatter type situation. So we can't kick her out. So we wound up taking all of her stuff, putting it on the front yard. But that in of itself was a traumatizing event because what we didn't know was that she had ferrets in her room, like pet ferrets that we didn't even know she had, that apparently she didn't care about because when the police came to the house to knock the door in, they were rotted. They were dead. They starved to death. These animals starved to death, okay? And she just left them there. She didn't care. To leave an animal to starve, I'm sorry, you're pure fucking evil for that bitch. So like I said, the police get in the room. We clear everything out. We put it on the front porch. They clear out the dead animals. They went to call animal control, cleared all that shit out of there. And the landlord came, changed the locks. And she, like I said, she wound up admitting to everything. She was out on probation, right? She accepted the charges. She had probation, felony probation with, I think, adjudication withheld. So as long as she did everything she was supposed to do, she would have been fine. No contact with us. Perfect, right? Well, we get a call because the state attorney wants to verify some information about our case because apparently she did the same thing to her boyfriend's mom, stole her identity as well, and was cashing checks and paying her bills. So I guess some people never fucking learn. And that is how I found Wicca. That's how I found witchcraft. And that is how the person who helped me find it became a felon. Yay! We love a full circle moment, don't we? It's just a weird story. And at the time, I just thought, what the fuck is my life? And for a little bit, like, it turned me off to the whole community. I'm like, these people are fucking crazy. If you believe, if you're Wiccan, if you're a witch, you're fucking crazy. Is this all this is? You just stealing from people, lying, stealing people's identity, stealing fucking craft items, you know? And it didn't make sense to me because I'm like reading these books and it's like, what I'm reading about how you conduct yourself as a Wiccan or as someone who's supposed to have a higher connection with nature and with, you know, giving and taking and respect and honor. Why the fuck are you bitches stealing? Like, I don't understand it. So, for a long time, for actually a few years, it really made me doubt the legitimacy of the practice of witchcraft and Wicca as a religion as a whole. Now, through time and education and watching videos on YouTube before I became a content creator, I realized it was just the people I was associating with that were fucking crazy, not necessarily, you know, the religion or the practice. And that is today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed the story time. I think this video is kind of winded. I'm not really sure where I'm at lengthwise, but I really do appreciate you guys watching. As of right now, I have, I believe, 990 subscribers. So thank you guys so much. We're about to hit 1,000. I can't even believe it. I'm super excited. It's kind of a goal that I've had for the channel is to hit 1,000 subs. So being so close just gets me really excited and makes me feel very humble that you guys like and subscribe and comment and all your interactions. It really means a lot to me to feel this kind of community, and our little glitter family that we're building here means a lot to me. I was a little worried about being disconnected somewhat when I changed the name of this channel to The Witch of Enchantment, but we will always be the Glitter Fam. Always, regardless of whatever the name of the channel is, that is who we are. I'm the Glitter Queen, you're Glitter Witches, we are Glitter Fam, always and forever. So thank you so much for watching today's video, guys. Don't forget to like and comment. Let me know how you found witchcraft, who led you to witchcraft or Wicca. I would love to hear your stories. And if you have any crazy, you know, dramatic stories like mine, please make a video response, send it to me, tag me so that I can watch it. I'd love to hear your stories. Super, super amazing. Do not forget Wine and Witchcraft and the Witches Tabletop Podcast. All the links are down below. I hope you all have a wonderful new year. Until next time, Glitter Witches. Bye, bitches.